How to win when playing from behind. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategy.
Feel the percussion, opponent ballin', they smooth, they gliding, but I'm reading they moves, I'm strategizing. Bounce back, rise up, never let it slide. Fast break, focus, keep the dream alive. Every pass, every play, I'ma redefine. Win from behind, we go shining over time.
Today we're talking about how to win a game when you're trailing in that game by a significant margin. This topic came up because of watching the 20 NBA playoffs, where one of the themes in this year's playoffs was teams getting down by like 20 points in a game and coming back to win or steal that game. So it made me think about, like, what's the recreational park equivalent of doing that, and how can you strategize to do it in a way where you can learn to do it when you need to do it on a regular basis and hopefully become more and more successful at it. So let's talk about strategies for being able to make a comeback in a game when you need to, and learning how to become better and better at doing it. First of all, when we talk about trying to make a comeback in a game that you're trailing significantly in, I think you have to start with being realistic about your chances to make the comeback. I'm going to, in the future, make a video about how you need to be delusional sometimes out here on the basketball court to accomplish things that you normally wouldn't think are really realistically possible. But you still need to be able to be real and have good self-awareness and situational awareness of yourself and your situation of, is this comeback actually doable? And the way you evaluate that is looking realistically at how you're playing and how your opponent is playing. If you're playing about as well as he is and you're still losing by a significant margin, then chances are that comeback is probably not gonna happen. Because if you're playing pretty much as well as he is, but you're losing, then that just probably means, even though you're playing at the same level, he's just probably better than you. And it's unlikely that throughout the game he's gonna get worse and you're gonna get better and thus be able to make a comeback. It can happen, it does happen, but it is unlikely. It's easiest to look at yourself and evaluate yourself and how you're playing to know if you're playing like below your status quo, below where you're normally playing, then that's the easiest thing, the easiest scenario to fix out here when trying to make a comeback, because all you have to do is start playing better. It's easier said than done, but it's the easiest done of all the possible scenarios. Because if you're playing your average game and you're still trailing, what much more can you do? Like, is it possible you could elevate your game beyond playing average and in doing so catch up and make the comeback that way? Sure, but then you're already playing what your average normal play level is. So being able to elevate that is possible, but unlikely. That's not something that you can count on game after game after game. You can maybe elevate it slightly from game to game, but usually not noticeably, where in a given game you can elevate yourself so much that you can erase a notable trail of a deficit between you and your opponent. And then if you evaluate yourself to be playing really well in that game and you're still losing, and then there's nothing left you can do. Once you're playing as best and as well as you can, above even where you expected to play, and you're still trailing and you're still losing, what else can you do? Like, you can't expect anything more to come from that. You can only expect the best of yourself. And when you do that, there's nothing more you can do. In that case, when you do lose that game, there's no reason to feel bad about it whatsoever. All you can do is the best you can do. And if you're actually doing that, then a loss is a loss, and you just got to improve more off the court and come back and implement that. But of course, you also have to take into account how your opponent is playing. Those three levels. If he's not playing well, but he has a lead on you, you're in big trouble. That means you're playing really bad. If he's playing bad and he's got a lead on you, then obviously you're both playing really bad. The good news about that is, like, you could overcome that and get a lead back from him, given that he continues to play at that low level. But again, that's unlikely if you're playing even worse than he is. If he's playing at an average rate, meaning like he's not playing great, but he's certainly not playing bad, he's playing at what you would estimate his average game potential to be, and he has that big lead on you, that comeback is possible, But now you're depending on a few things working in your favor, which is he starts to play slightly worse as you're playing significantly better. So he's going down as you're significantly going up so that you can meet him and then surpass him and hopefully win the game. Again, that's possible. It does happen, but it's unlikely to happen. You can't expect that to happen. You can't count on that to happen. All you can do is just play out of your mind as hard and smart as you can and hope that's the situation that plays itself out. Almost the kind of the situation you would want and expect or hope for is like the reason he has such a lead on you is because he's playing super high level basketball. Because in that scenario, it makes sense that he would have a lead and you would be trailing because he's playing really good basketball and you're playing however you're playing. At least in that scenario, it makes sense that you're losing by such a significant margin. Now, is there anything you can do about that? Possible, but not really. All you can really do is hope to elevate yourself to his level and hope that he gets complacent and lazy and gives you that window to catch up to him. But my point is, you need to be realistic, you need to be self-aware and have a good awareness of the situation of, is the comeback doable and is it realistic? You should play as hard and as smart as you possibly can, regardless, but it's all about expectation and awareness. Can you actually make a comeback or can you not? My second point with trying to make a comeback is have a plan. Be prepared. You need to know and accept that this kind of situation is going to happen a lot. It's going to happen dozens, if not hundreds of times to you throughout your career. And the sooner you accept that, like that's just part of the game, the sooner you can deal with it and come up with a plan to have an idea of how you're going to deal with it when it happens. Again, I think it's smart to have a strategy for all three of those levels, meaning if you're playing from behind, if you're neck and neck with your opponent, or if you're significantly winning against them. You need to have an overall sort of idea, game plan, strategy of how you're going to play in each of those scenarios. Because the younger and newer player that you are, the sort of less you think about that, you're just sort of happy to be there in the moment and to start getting that experience. But at some point you got to start thinking, okay, I find myself in one of these three positions in every single game, probably multiple positions throughout a single game, every single game. So when I'm in those positions, what do I do? How do I deal with it? What's my overall sort of strategy and goal when I'm in those positions? Because a lot of players, especially casual players, never think about that. They never take that into account. That when they have the lead on somebody, they're just happy that they're winning. They don't have an idea of like, okay, I'm winning, but I need to have a plan how to maintain this lead. Because if you're playing against a player like me and you're beating me, you better believe that I'm strategizing and thinking and trying to come up with ways to make my comeback. I'm not just going to lay down, give up, and just accept the fact that you're winning by 7 points and we're only going to 15, so I'm going to let you win. When that's going to happen with other casual players, if you're beating casual players, sure, that's going to happen. But with players like us who are trying to constantly evolve and push ourselves to be the best we can, no, we don't just lay down and accept that. We are constantly scrambling, trying to figure out ways to make that comeback. And if you come across someone who's just happy to have the lead, there's very good chances that they're going to get complacent and lazy and start making mistakes and start letting you catch up to them. So when you find yourself in that position of having that lead, understand the position of power you hold and then have plans and strategy how you're going to maintain it throughout the rest of the game. The same thing with being neck and neck with your opponent, and definitely when you're trailing. The more you experience each position, the more you will understand the good ways, the bad ways, the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses that come with overcoming that position. From that understanding, then should come your strategy and your game plan. Now, regardless of the details and the specifics of that strategy for any of those positions, and you should be playing absolutely as smartly as you know how to play as well. Those are givens. Those exist on all three planes. It's all about the nuances within each of those positions of how you're going to implement that if you're playing from behind, if you're playing neck to neck, or if you're leading somebody. I can't draw out like specific plans of each category because I don't know you or your playing style or what you prefer, how you prefer to play. So therefore I can't tell you, okay, if you're trailing, this is how you should play, or if you're tied, this is what you should do. I can't tell you exactly what to do. The best advice I or anyone else could ever give you is just figure out through your experience how you play best from behind, how you play best when you're tied with somebody, and how you hold on to a lead when you have it without letting the other team make a comeback. I wish I could get more specific, but the best advice is you gotta know yourself and your own game. Lastly, and of course for me, I want to address this from a psychological perspective, which is even though you should be aware of how your opponent is playing, like what level they're playing at, the bottom line is playing from behind, trying to make that comeback is all about you. To me, one of the best indicators of do you really care about being the best basketball player you can be? Are you really serious about pushing yourself and seeing what your ceiling as a basketball player is in the most difficult situations where like you're trailing at a significant deficit behind your opponent. When you know it's likely that you're going to lose, how do you react to that? And one of the biggest, most significant reactions I look for is, are you still playing hard? Are you still playing smart? And are you still, to some degree, having fun while you're doing it? Now, why is fun important? Why is the enjoyment important? Now, obviously, if you're losing, that's not fun. It's stressful, it's frustrating, it's annoying. Nobody likes it, the frustration and stress of it. Nobody likes that. But it's about how do you perceive that opposition? Because if you perceive it in a defeating kind of way, like, oh, I'm gonna lose, I might as well give up. I'll just let myself lose so we can get this game over with as quickly as possible, and maybe the next game something will change and I will play better and have a better chance to win. If you have that defeatist attitude, to me, that's like, how serious are you? That's a casual player's mindset, which is like, on to the next one. I only care about winning. Winning's the only thing that matters. So if I'm not winning right now, if I'm down by 6 points and they're 2 points away from winning the game, then I might as well not try anymore. To me, that's like, what's the point of even being out here then? Like if it only matters to you, if you only have value for it if you're winning, or if you win, if that's the only value you get, or if that's your primary value, then I don't think you're actually as serious as you claim to be about trying to be the best player you can be. Like I said, losing is not fun, but just because it's not directly and inherently fun doesn't mean there's not some kind of joy, some kind of satisfaction and fulfillment that can't be attained within that losing process. The ideal perspective I would like players to have when they're trailing and it looks like they're probably going to lose that game is like, the more you're losing, the clearer, the straighter, more direct the mission becomes. Meaning like the more you lose, the easier it should be for you to become focused and to concentrate. Because the more behind you are, the more you're trailing, the less you have to think about. It's like, okay, well, now that you're losing, the mission becomes gotta score on this possession, and then when they get the ball, gotta get a stop. That's all.
Defense locking, no free looks tonight. Hands up, feet set, I'm taking flight. Team in sync, rhythm feeling just right. Pressure on me, but I'm built for the fight. Plan in the pocket, I'm calm, I'm steady. Every moment matters, always stay ready. They cocky, they laughing, but I'm deadly. Dropping threes, cold hands, rocking heavy.